But
Sure.
there are a lot of people wondering, do you pose a threat to the folks in this area?
I don't feel I pose a threat at all. I'm a very friendly guy. I'm very outgoing. I'm in sales. I deal with people all the time. There's a lot of people. I've been in thousands of people's homes over the years. If I was that bad of a person, I wouldn't be able to conduct business and produce on a daily level. Just because people are scared to be approaching them, or if they think that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I'm a rather big guy. I'm a weightlifter. I go to the gym, and sometimes maybe I might come across as intimidating because of my size, but I'm a very friendly guy, and a lot of people testify to that.
What do you sell?
Say it again?
What do you sell?
Oh, well, we do a range of environmental products for the home to deal with air purification, water purification, cleaning systems, and we also do supplementation as well, too.
We had people contact the station saying that you also showed up at their homes claiming to sell solar. Another person said you claim to sell or service point-of-service machines.
Well, the solar, for a third party, I get referrals for someone. That's all that is. I just recently got involved in that, so I'm not a solar professional. I just get people, if they're interested, I would refer them to someone on that, because we're all independent contractors. We're 1099 employees. We basically are commission-based, so that's how that works.
And as for the point-of-sale machines on the Clover?
Oh, the point of sale. Oh, yes. I used to work for a company with that. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's the guy. That guy was an idiot. I talked to that guy, trying to resolve a situation. Find out. I looked at your Fox report, and turned out the reason why that guy was so one-sided on that was it was his wife. I walked into business and talked about it, and she was just really very, from the very beginning, she didn't want to hear anything about it. Yeah, I worked for a company that was a legitimate company for that particular machine. And I may have lost my position with the company because shortly after that they had released me. So I don't know if it was because of that, but HR did release me from that company. I did work for a point of sale company. Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
He mentioned that you wouldn't even give the name of the company. You wouldn't even give him your name. He didn't know what to make of that.
Well, that guy was very, very. He claims that I was not dressed very professionally. And that day it was my off day. I wasn't dressed like I normally am. Normally I'm dressed very nice. With most people that know me, I wear a nice, very polo shirt, and I wear very nice dress pants. That day this was my very casual day, and he was very skeptical, and I don't know what he was asking, a lot of questions and making me very, very nervous. And I thought, well, who is this guy? He's questioning me all these different things, and I didn't quite know who he was at first. So I just didn't respond like I normally do. I was trying to see where he was going.
But if you're a salesman, you should know to pretty much be good on the fly.
Well, yeah, absolutely, I was. But, I also know this guy wasn't interested. I could tell by his body language he was being very defensive, and he had a very negative outlook what he was doing. He might have been trying to report me for soliciting in his business. And I don't know whether or not that was, in that county. Every county has ordinances and stuff. And Clovis does have an ordinance. You're supposed to have a permit to solicit.
Do you have permits to solicit?
Well, our company handles all of that. And as far as on the local level, there's local permits required sometimes. But as far as I know, nationally, we have the company handle all that stuff. We were never told to get permits. Because think about it this way. And I was going to be frank with you. The bottom line is, if you go from one town to another town to another town, you could spend lots and lots of money, thousands and thousands of dollars in permits, even if you're in a town for a couple days. So usually they don't bother you on business to business. Usually residential. I've never ever had, rarely been contacted. I don't think ever. That was the very first time I was told about the permits on commercial businesses. Now residential is different because you're going to people's houses, you're going door to door. Businesses, anybody can walk into a business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, looking back at again, the criminal history is what a lot of people have issues with. And given that, again, this woman in Fowler is accusing you of having approached her unwanted, then you've got some gals that apparently you may have been approaching this morning, according to one of our viewers at Home Depot. Should the public be worried about you?
Not at all. I'm a very friendly guy. I'm very approachable. I've been in thousands of people's homes. I'm a person that is, I'm a Christian. I'm a person that, as a God-fearing man, I'm not a person that tries to put fear in people. If someone gets upset with me, I feel very bad. I feel very embarrassed by that they would call the cops on me for something like that. I'm a very large guy. I work out with weights. I think that maybe because of my posture, that has a lot to do with it. I've been told that before, if you take a woman that's 120 pounds, 15, 20, 25, even 130 pounds, I'm a 275, 280 pound man, mostly work out with weights. It's going to be a little intimidating sometimes. I think it's the day and age we live in. People are just scared of people these days. But the problem is we don't talk to our neighbors. We don't talk to strangers. And with someone like me, who's just very outgoing type A personality, goes up to someone, sometimes the person gets a little spooked out. But it doesn't mean I'm committing a crime. It doesn't make me a stalker. It doesn't make me a harasser. I made some mistakes in my life where I was a little too persistent. But I was wrong on those. And I paid the price on those. I know I didn't commit any crimes here, nor did I feel that the authorities feel I committed any crimes here as well, too.
We're looking again at the criminal history. I mean, some of that includes indecent exposure and possibly, not solicitation, but rather approaching children, among other crimes. I think that was what the warrant that I was looking at out of Idaho mentioned, something about you possibly. Let me pull it up really quick just so I don't get the verbiage incorrectly here. But the big concern here was that in Idaho, for enticing teenage girls by offering them jobs, dates, and rides. In Arkansas, arrested for stalking, harassing, posing as door-to-door salesman, arrested for vehicle burglary. One of those says that, here we go, false imprisonment, attempted indecent assault, stalking, and disorderly conduct.
Well, hold on a second here. I want to stop you right there because all those charges, they were never brought to fruition. Those two were all looked at because I approached a police officer's daughter. So there was obviously a very much bias. They would have charged me with false imprisonment of felony. They dropped that. They would never would have got that. The burglary, I didn't break into those, so I'm not posing as a door, right? I was a salesman. The only thing is I asked a young lady for a ride, and she had basically at the same time, I think she was rather young. She was troubled or so. And that whole thing, by the way, I was never convicted of any crime. I was brought charges on, but they dropped that. If you look at the charges, they dropped that from all those felonies as false imprisonment. They dropped it to, I believe, it was a misdemeanor charge, which I have never had my day in court on. So I can't really comment on that.
In Idaho was where we're looking at the warrant here for indecent exposure to children, stalking children, giving false information to officers, and contempt of court.
There's no way there's a warrant for indecent exposure. I would disagree with that. There's got to be a mistake there with that, because that would be considered a sex crime. There's no warrant for that. I think that they tried to charge me with that originally, but there was a mistake in there. There was no warrant. Because you never said I exposed myself. It was me approaching someone that was just younger of age, and she said that that was what that was about. It was, I believe, because the girl was younger or something like that. I don't know how old she was. She was walking. She was going to ride or something like that.
So bottom line, what would you like our viewers to know about you?
Well, I like my viewers to know that if they do see me, that I'm a very talkative individual. I'm very personable with people. I like to talk about sports. I like to talk about people and get to know people on a personal level. And they shouldn't be scared of me, I believe if I was this bad of a person, they would have locked me away years ago and threw away the key, or I would have been locked up for something, severely doing something. I mean, after approaching hundreds of people a week in sales, obviously, if my mission was not to do something good for the community by sharing products to help people with their health and wellness, then, eventually that would have come out already by now. But it just comes to the point, like I said, I think it's the society we live in. People just aren't used to people approaching them. Strange people are scared of people. It's unfortunately, you'd have to agree with that. You're a female. If you had I don't know what you look like. I've never seen you before, but if you had a man approach you and ask you personal questions, does that mean that man's a harasser? That mean it's just the man might be interested to get to know you?
Even looking at the lawsuit that you filed in Pennsylvania against the two police officers, you even mentioned on there that you admitted yourself that you are a repeat criminal offender with convictions and or arrests in 6 states for crimes including false imprisonment, attempted indecent assault, stalking, and disorderly conduct. That said, we talked with a forensic psychologist who was saying that that you're setting off all sorts of alarms in terms of what you've done and manipulation and misinformation.
Okay, Well, first of all, if the false and personal charge was dropped, okay, most of my convictions have been harassment stalking charges, and stalking is very vague. It's been argued in the courts many, many times because it's a lot how a person feels. And like I said, there's been times I felt I might have been guilty on certain situations, and I took responsibility. There's times I felt that, I took pleas just to expedite the system. It's unfortunate the criminal justice system takes a long time sometimes. But as far as to bring that case up, there was a lawsuit filed, if you look back in the federal court, on police officers that acted inappropriately. I filed a 1983 civil complaint on those officers, I just want to say right now that I'm not even in Fresno right now. I'm not in Fresno because the police ran me out of Fresno. That's against my constitutional rights. That was wrong for them to do that. They intimidated me, scared me, and ran me out of Fresno. I'm not in Fresno right now because of that,
Yeah, you were in Kingsburg this afternoon.
Huh?
You were in Kingsburg this afternoon.
I was in Kingsburg. That's not Fresno.
Okay, you're still in Fresno County. So are you planning on staying in this area, or?
No, I'm intimidated by the police, and I feel that, I think that my whole thing is this. With all the stuff that the media has put out there, unfortunately, they didn't hear my side. I appreciate you letting me at least get my side. If people are going to listen to this, they're going to say, hey, you know what, the guy, he does have some points here, but there are always people say, well, you know what, no, everybody has their own opinion, I always say opinions are like, I can't say it on the air, but everybody has their own opinion, right?
Okay, well, I thank you very much for your time and for taking my call and for calling me back. I really appreciate it. At least, we're allowing you to have your side as well. So thank you again.
Sure. What is your name and when will this be here?
My name is Liz. This will be on the news at 10. So again, you mentioned you don't plan on staying in this immediate area then in Fresno.
Not at all. What was the plan? I really stayed here a lot. I felt like I was just, I just felt that, this whole thing just got blown out of proportion to the point where I felt very, very on edge because people are seeing me now. They see this police picture on news and social media, and they think, oh, there's the guy. So because every time they see me, cops are being called. So I was stopped multiple times over the last several days because of this, It's just a shame, but I'm glad you called me. Maybe this will clear the air. If people see me, oh, that's the guy, with salesman that he's in front of the guy, that he just, he's been very misunderstood.
And you said at the beginning of the conversation that you admitted that you've had problems in the past.
Yeah, I've had some problems in the past. I'm not saying that. I can't lie and say that I don't have a criminal record. But you have to understand, the last conviction I had was 6 years ago. I turned my life around. I'm trying to be very, very look at other people's point of view, and if they don't want to be bothered, and if I feel I'm talking to someone on a personal level, even if it's a female or something like that, this is usually mostly females, I back off. And that's why I haven't been, getting these charges, because I'm trying to be more conscientious of other people's feelings. And, and that's what I think what I proved it. And I got some psychological issues. I was diagnosed with personality disorder from the Navy. I have OCD and depression. I have some psychological problems as well, too. And I probably need to get some psychotherapy and stuff, but the VA, unfortunately, for me, doesn't provide a lot of things for me because I wasn't in the Navy very long,
Okay. Thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.